Welcome to another episode of 4G1G. We are
Nate,
Quincy,
Sister,
Mac,
and I'm Zip, and today we are talking about Fullmetal Alchemist, Brotherhood. Okay, this has been a long time coming.
Yeah, I mean, we already did the 2003 a little while ago,
yeah,
right?
it was a while ago.
What was that, 2 or 3 years ago?
It was last year.
Oh, last year? Man, it feels so long.
Really? I mean, we watched the show for like over the course of an entire year, so that makes sense.
That took a while.
That was a lot of episodes. It was a lot of episodes.
Yeah.
I mean, ironically, it was less than Brotherhood, which we were able to finish in less than 4 months.
Yeah, well, to be fair, it was like an on and off again storyline and the like, but...
We didn't like the 2003 as much as we like Brotherhood. Like, let me just put it out there.
If you listen to a podcast, then...
Yeah, the podcast, like, that episode of our podcast did very well. If you haven't listened to it, go back and listen to it.
Yeah.
We also talk about was it Road to Shambhala?
Conqueror of Shambhala.
Right, Conquer. I got it wrong in that podcast too. The Conqueror of Shambhala.
You misspelled Conqueror and Shambhala.
Yeah, we'll have to touch on actually the differences since we're actively like looking at this series too, and just be able to look at them. Now,
Yeah.
So for some background, I think what was this? The 4th anime we watched because we watched.
I think maybe third.
Okay, because we watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, which isn't an anime, but that's what really got
That
us
was our
introduced.
gateway drug.
That was what
Gateway
got
drug.
us introduced to it, and then we watched Erased, and then it was Cowboy Bebop.
No, Cowboy Bebop.
the first
Cowboy
anime.
Bebop was-
The first anime we watched was the Blade Runner Blackout short.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
but
talking
that's-
about shows.
Shows,
though.
yeah.
Okay.
Rather than shorts.
And we also watched, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 Ghibli movies in between.
5 or 6 is
Yeah, I don't know. It was a lot, I remember.
maybe 3.
Was it Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away,
Not in that
Howl's
order.
Moving Castle?
Cosmic Castle.
Okay, so it was Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, and then Princess Mononoke that we watched in that order. With the latter, we watched it in December, around the same time as when we finished Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah, it sounds right.
Yeah, I mean...
How do you?
Yeah.
You know what? Never mind. I was gonna ask how do you remember
Yeah, you
that?
just
But never
remember
mind.
stuff
Mine's
like this.
computer.
Yeah, and
Or
at-
an encyclopedia.
so it was after Last Airbender that we watched Cowboy Bebop. Is that right?
That was the summer of 2021. And then in autumn through... about now, actually, in 2021, we watched Fullmetal Alchemist. Specifically, and remember the special detail with that being that we finished Last Airbender on December 23rd of 2020, and we finished Fullmetal Alchemist the same day the following year. And you were adamant about, like, we were on the last episode, everyone was pretty emotional.
It was late.
Like, yeah. And we were like, wow, I can't believe we're going to be finishing it. And then you were saying, yeah, we're going to be finishing this tonight.
I think it was
Yeah.
after Quincy pointed out that this is the same day we finished Last Airbender. It was like, no, this is a sign. We've got to finish it tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was just like, it's late. It's past our bedtime. And you guys were just adamant about, I was just throwing my hands like, okay, fine,
Yeah, it's like-
fine. We'll just be tired tomorrow.
You regret it?
No, not one
like-
bit.
it's-
Like, holy
yeah.
crap, that was heck of an ending. Like,
Yeah.
the best ending in anime history.
Yeah.
Because it was so happy.
We're gonna have to. It was like. Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about like that, how good that ending is. It got us give us the same feeling as like when we finished Erased, which is the shortest show, like months before, and now everyone was like, "Oh man, that was the happiest ending ever!"
Yeah.
and then we were like, watch Fullmetal Alchemist, like, okay, yeah, this is up there too.
Yeah.
Hey, didn't we finish Erased during Thanksgiving break?
It was something like that.
Oh, a month apart?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, what episode of Fullmetal Alchemist were we on at that point?
I gotta go back and check. Unfortunately, it was a little harder to keep track of which storyline we were in from how it was in Avatar: The Last Airbender.
It might have been like
Okay, yeah,
during-
because it's such a because it's a bit more of a coherent thing, and anxiety, especially in the second half.
Okay, so we've clarified when exactly we watched it, which is kind of important, I would say, because we've had a lot of time to think about our feelings about this anime and why we like it so much, why it's always in our top 5.
4 years.
And I think it would be good for us to talk about why Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is the perfect gateway anime and why exactly it's so often people's first anime, even though it was our like 3rd or 4th. It's a lot of people's first.
Really? That's kind of
Well, that's kind of yeah.
Yeah, so it's like people who have watched it, they might, introduce it to someone who's never watched an anime before and they're looking for something to kind of get them into it in an even way. And I looked this up, and it said that it's a popular first anime because it's a. I'm just taking this from what the AI overview for Google says. It's a near perfect blend of action, deep themes, morality, sacrifice, war, compelling characters, fantastic world building, and high quality animation, all wrapped in a complete, well-paced story that avoids common anime tropes, making it universally appealing to both new viewers and seasoned fans, which I think we would all agree with, especially with how it avoids the common anime tropes. It's not super zany and goofy like My Academia.
It can be.
It can be.
Which is something that I remember caught us off guard because our previous experience was the Blade Runner short, Cowboy Bebop, and Ghibli movies.
But it was like a nice progression.
Yeah,
right?
which was a good progression. So, like in the first episode with when they did the super deformed thing, well, can I do this? We were like, I think remember we were so sort of like.
We're
okay,
like,
that's
what?
That's interesting. That's kind of zany. I haven't seen that before.
I would say real quick, we've experienced a little bit of the zaniness in like The Last Airbender, but
that was explicitly for kids though, which was what we understood. And
then it took us a bit to realize with anime fans, there are a lot of adult anime fans, and they still like the zany stuff, I guess.
And that's normal.
And
which
that's
we did
normal,
not, which we didn't know at the time.
guess?
I mean, we've kind of gotten used to it, but not gotten used to it. But we've kind of no, what's the word? Desensitized, maybe.
Where we like us desensitized?
Well, like we like now when this stuff kind of when it happens, everyone's just kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, here we go. And now, but back then we were like, what's going on?
We were a little scared. Honestly, we're like, oh, what's happening? It's like, Mom, I'm scared.
Mom, keep picking me up.
Keep picking me up. I'm scared.
And as a side note, the subtitles in the early anime episodes that included the sound effects as well,
like energy blast
and landing grunt.
Let's see. I feel like there was another thing. I remember we sort of stopped making fun of the subtitles for the first episode at around the point with when Bradley when Terminator, I should say when Fuhrer King Terminator Bradley showed up and sliced the guy open with his sword. It's like, oh, so there's more to this. And what was that circle about? And who was that old guy that showed whose eyes it just showed? Okay, I guess we'll find out in 60 episodes.
Yeah. So, it's interesting. It's both kind of surprising and also not surprising that it's people's first anime. I suppose you could call this our first real anime too, with like the longer, with
What are you saying about Cowboy Bebop?
I'm not. No, I say the Cowboy Bebop
just
and
one season,
Erased
right?
are like just one season.
That's
They're like
true.
shorter. But Fullmetal Alchemist, like this is the kind of thing where like that builds like huge fandoms wanting to see like how the whole conspiracy, like the full storyline. Like for Cowboy Bebop and Erased, like Cowboy Bebop is a classic because it has each episode is kind of its own story and seeing these characters' journeys and the like. But there's not exactly a big through line, you know what I mean? And then Erased is a through line, but it's also very short.
Yeah,
whereas this had like how many episodes, Quincy?
64, right?
Yes.
So like a 64
Really?
episode run with a bunch of characters that we come to care about, and we want to see how it all ends. So that was like our first gateway drug, like you said, into this kind of thing. And then we got into things like My Hero Academia and Death Note and that kind of thing. And then later on Attack on Titan, which came way down the line.
Before we keep going, I should clarify that we actually watched Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood before Erased by about a couple of weeks.
Really?
Or
We did?
even less than that.
I thought we watched the first episode the same night.
Wait, the very same night?
Yeah, we watched the pilot for Erased, and I think we watched either the pilot or the first couple episodes for Erased, and then we watched and then we're like, should we check out that Fullmetal Alchemist show? Yeah, sure, why not?
Now I think about it, was because of just how jarring and crazy the ending of the pilot for Erased was. So it was just like, dang, we're gonna have to watch the next episode of that. But first, let's start this other show.
Yeah, this is back when we like jumped in between shows a lot.
Huh. I was fairly certain that if we started with Fullmetal Alchemist and then did Erased.
What do you guys think? Am I remembering this clearly?
Yeah.
I don't know. This isn't my...
Don't ask me. It's like...
I just remember watching it.
I'm a
I don't
consumer.
remember when. Yeah, I don't remember when. I'm not looking at the clock. I'm looking at the... I'm looking at the screen. It's the screen. At the screen. I'm usually yelling a lot when...
You
especially later on in the show. But we'll get to that.
You shouldn't ask me these kind of questions. I just don't remember.
Yeah,
Seriously.
it was 4 years ago. Maybe my mind's playing tricks on me. But anyway, moving on. So as far as being as far as with Fullmetal Alchemist being a good gateway for people to get into anime. So one thing you have here is accessible without dumbing things down. How do you mean with that anyway?
Okay, what I mean by that is how Fullmetal Alchemist has these intense themes of obviously war, racism,
Religion,
or other things like
science.
religion,
The magic systems,
yeah,
the
magic
world building.
systems, military, imperialistic militaries and nations and stuff like that.
Sounds like another show.
The value of a life.
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
I thought you were talking about Attack on Titan.
Thinking about all of those themes,
What's the difference?
I was, while we were watching it, we were, consuming these different themes and stuff, and we were kind of running it through in our brains. And obviously, we've always known that war and imperialism and racism, stuff like that, is really, really bad. But it was a show, don't tell, with Fullmetal Alchemist. They weren't like preaching it to us unless it was like a very, very important thing where it was like could have been a monologue or something like that. But I think a big part of how it doesn't dumb things down is through the characters and the character work. So like Scar, he is he's a victim of the what's it called, genocide,
the Ishvalan Civil War.
Ishvalan war and the genocide, and the Emestrians just killing everybody and killing his people. So we get his point of view. We also get the point of view of the soldiers and the people who instated this rule in the first place with King Bradley, and we just get
the full picture.
And we can understand like the different facets of war and what can come of it and what happens after the war. And I just feel like it's a really good way of showing people how there are different sides to every war and there are different sides to every conflict, basically. So I just feel like it's a really, really good example of a show don't tell that is, it seems kind of, bless you. It seems more simple. Like if you first just look at it, it's like, oh, the Emestrians like genocide against the Ishvalans, and there's a Ishvalan who is like, he's a terrorist, Scar, like he is a terrorist and a serial killer.
And then you have this,
and then you have the military
and King Bradley, who's literally called the Führer, who has a suspiciously Stalin-ish mustache.
Yeah, but then you have to think about like what would you do if you were in these different people's shoes, like Roy Mustang or Scar or Winry, whose parents were just trying to help people, and
Scar,
like
who
that.
just went through like the worst experience of a lifetime and was so crazy that he killed the first blue-eyed white people that he saw, who turned out to be very, very good. And oh man, it's so bad.
Exactly. Yeah. So it just really makes you think.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say that it's not preaching to anybody, but it's not holding back either. So I just appreciated that, and I know that was a little long with my explanation.
No, that was good.
But I've just been thinking about this kind of stuff for a while, so.
Yeah. You want?
Yeah, and one thing that I especially really, really like is how the show is able to, for lack of a better word, do a whole lot with a little bit of information. Like, for example, when they talk about the Ishvalan Civil War, and basically everyone, like, you'd expect for them to be sort of like, yeah, we won, or anything like that, but pretty much everyone, aside from maybe Kimberly, but he's crazy, so he doesn't count, just talks about how it was an absolutely miserable experience, the worst experience of their lives, and they never want to have to go through anything like that again, and how most of them, the people, join the military and Amestris so they can do some sort of change, that not knowing about the whole conspiracy or anything like that. But anyway, the fact that it's able to explain in a whole lot of other things in a way that's pretty simple, I just find that to be really cool, like going with the exposition thing. Obviously, like how they explain alchemy, for example, is an obvious example of this. Like talking about equivalent exchange has kind of been a thing ever since we watched Fullmetal Alchemist. Like when we say, oh, if you work out, then you're going to get sore. Law of equivalent exchange, that sort of thing.
Yeah, or if you eat a bunch of cake today, you're not going to sleep well.
Equivalent exchange.
Equivalent exchange.
Wait, how? Is it that the momentary pleasure you get in eating cake?
Yes.
And then you end up getting a tummy ache
you get
throughout
a tummy
the entire
ache,
night.
and you don't sleep well, and it's things like that.
Is this from personal experience?
Yeah.
But I mean, granted, I remember being pretty confused about how alchemy works when watching the show up until a certain point. It may have been at first when I was wondering, wait, what is like the circles have to do with everything, and then the portal of truth and that sort of thing. It might just be saying that because I can't draw a circle, so I may have been jealous. I don't know if I was jealous or not.
None of us can draw a circle, Mac.
Okay, yeah, fair.
Well, I mean, you artists kind of have a bit of an edge over
It's
us.
never a perfect circle, though. It's
Yeah.
like in one go, just.
Does adding
It's
a circle
doesn't-
into a 3D scene count?
No.
Oh.
That's like an asset on a computer. It just.
Just a primitive That's just a primitive model.
And I don't think computers exist in a mess just yet.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's 19.
Yeah.
It's like the early 20th century.
I get what you mean about the alchemy and equivalent exchange. Like, it is presented in a good way as well. But I do like how it doesn't give us all the information just in one go.
Yeah.
We learn
Like-
more about it as it goes on.
Literally, the first thing that alchemy is shown to do. I mean, at least in the manga, obviously there's the pilot episode, which is a whole lot of foreshadowing that becomes extremely relevant in later episodes. But anyway, in the manga, with the whole thing in not the Siwang Desert. What's the desert called?
It's
what?
just called the desert area between Amestris and Shing.
Yeah. In the desert when Ed and Al are going to the place where
Lior?
Father Cornello is.
Well,
Lior and Al repairs that radio, and they explain alchemy that way. It's that point, and I think it's at that point where you're like, oh, okay, I see how this works.
I
So,
didn't.
which is good.
It took me so long to
Yeah.
even have a semblance of an understanding of alchemy.
Or at least you have the basis on how it. You have a basis of an idea on how it works, which is most likely Hiromu Arakawa being like, okay, so this is going to be integral to the story, so I'm just going to try to make it as simple as I possibly can, so that you can understand.
That cow is a fantastic writer.
Yeah, I don't know
Yes.
how that cow does
We're not
it.
calling her a cow. Her persona is a cow.
Yeah.
Because she used to live on a farm, right?
With glasses, and
Yeah.
and I think someone else said Hiromu, so it's like it's a genius.
It's a pun.
It's another genius pun.
The woman's a genius.
Yeah, and also since Fullmetal Alchemist is a stealth drink your milk campaign, sort of
Campaign. Yeah.
yeah. That also then it also tracks because dairy farmer. But I'll quickly have a question. What do you mean when you say minimal reliance on anime specific tropes? I might just be thinking that because when I think of Fullmetal Alchemist, it's kind of a unique, distinct. It's kind of a unique, distinct thing, and I'm not necessarily knowledgeable on how anime tropes work per se,
Oh, okay.
with a few exceptions.
I have an answer to this. So, the reason why they're asking me is because I wrote this outline.
She did a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, she did.
ChatGPT helped me.
That kind of undermines the effort.
No,
Yeah.
it doesn't.
yeah, but
Anyway, I said it
That was
helped
such a
me.
shift.
Not it wrote it. It wrote it for me, and I
it did everything.
did everything.
That was such a shift in how Jeff was like, oh, great job. You said
Come on.
ChatGPT
This is
wrote it for me.
theme-
Then you said traitor. Well,
I
you
did-
said,
It helped. It
It
helped.
helped
Wait,
me.
you thought
It's
it-
supposed to be a teammate,
Yeah.
not my boss.
You thought
Sorry,
she was going.
misspoke.
You thought she was
Okay.
going against the story's theme. Like you relying on alchemy. I mean AI for everything.
That's funny. Okay. The reason why I have answers to these things is because I was in collaboration with the AI. Thank you very much. Anyway, so the reason why I said it has minimal reliance on in anime specific tropes is because it doesn't just rely on what was that line
Vibes.
from? No, from Fantastic Mr. Fox. It was like boom, fire,
Like
Explosion,
explosions,
flames,
fire.
burning things.
it doesn't like all of that is in there. Yes.
And fan
awesome.
service.
It's
And
awesome.
fan, and, yes. Well, yeah.
I mean,
A bit, but it's like it's isn't it freaking shonen? So
I was gonna say that depends on what you mean by fan service, because I know it's usually attributed to
Female characters.
But the
Each
thing,
episodes.
but
Like,
the thing,
come
but-
on.
But the
It's
thing
not
is
just
that
limited to females.
the actual definition for fan service is stuff that the fans would like. So action and action scenes would actually qualify.
Oh, yeah.
as such.
yeah.
That's a really good
Yeah,
point.
like John Wick, for example.
Yeah.
It's fan service for people like me.
Yeah. So what I was gonna say is it doesn't just rely on some anime specific tropes. Let me look that up real quick. Anime specific
Because
tropes.
when I think of anime specific tropes, I just think of like stories that kind of break the mold, like Evangelion or Chainsaw Man or that
Cowboy
sort of thing.
Bebop.
or Cowboy Bebop.
when you think of anime specific tropes,
I just think of I think of stories that famous for going against those because, again, I don't understand how they work.
Yeah, I think anime-specific tropes, when people tend to think of those, and what I kind of thought is like...
Quirky characters.
Cute. Quirky girl characters, for instance. Oh, they're so shy, like this guy, and or certain like the schoolgirl toast.
Oh
in
no,
mouth.
I'm so late.
That's an anime specific.
You know what?
It's funny.
So basically, it's like Attack on Titan Junior High.
Yeah, like I doubt you would see that in like American TV shows. That's something we usually see in like anime.
I mean, to be fair, I don't even know if those tropes would like work in Fullmetal Alchemist. So what they?
No.
Because
I mean,
take out the high
Go
school,
on.
add in fascist military, yeah.
Hey,
Right.
sister.
Or
Yes,
imperialist.
clearly.
Can I hazard a guess and assume that you're calling out Fruits Basket?
I've never watched Fruits Basket, never once in my life.
I mean, then again, the reason
But-
why,
Is that the truth? It sounds like a very, very
I
obvious
just want to put
denial.
that out. I just want to put that out there. I've never watched it, not even once in my life. I watched a trailer once, and I regret it. I've regretted it ever since. I'm referring to that, but when I think anime-specific tropes, exactly, I'm thinking of
although
miscommunication is one thing.
oh,
That's a large
I mean,
one. It's like the typical miscommunication trope where something could be easily resolved, but then they stretch
they
it
just
out
talk.
until it like the season finale or something like that.
That being said, you have like an encyclopedic. Encyclopedic, is that the word?
Encyclopedia?
Encyclopedic. Not. I guess that's the word.
Yeah,
A
okay.
knowledge of like say webtoon tropes because you've read just a staggering amount of webtoons. So I usually go to you in terms
Yeah.
of how it works. So
Honestly,
I'm assuming
I have a
I'm
bit of
assuming
a
there's
problem.
some parts of it that's interchangeable with anime tropes. I think.
Yeah, I would say so. Like everything being said in a high school.
Yeah.
For instance, everything being said in some sort of high school setting or a school setting or things like that. I like how the high school age characters, nothing has to do with school with them. It's all about being a soldier and fighting and stuff like that. But they're also fighting for
And-
what they believe in.
And like getting Ed and Al getting their bodies back.
Yeah, or freaking like they got mutilated.
Yeah, which
You know?
to be frank,
That episode was hard to watch.
Yeah, which to be frank, I thought that was a pipe dream for most of the show because of all the conspiracy stuff that was taking place. Like how are you going to make that work? I'm not a magician. You two are magicians. I don't know how you're going to make that work, and I don't know how you're going to make that work.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
technically, they're scientists.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. But they're scientists that can use magic.
Okay, so
So wizards, I guess.
So looking past the usual anime things and looking at just mainly Shōnen, well, actually, I don't know what other Shōnen we've watched, but the main thing we're just discussing is why Fullmetal Alchemist is definitely the best. It's the best one.
Okay.
It's the best one for sure. I know.
If we're going into a new section, we have to say what the section is.
Oh, okay. So new section that we're talking about is Shōnen storytelling, but refined.
Right.
We're talking about the core Shōnen promises, so growth, power systems, escalation. And first of all, growth is a very big part of Edward's arc because I mean, look at him.
Literally.
Yeah, look at him by the final season. It's just awesome. He's a lot taller. It's great. So
Well, you almost went into another bean sprout thing, didn't you? Calling him like a pipsqueak.
I wasn't going to, but now I'm probably going to get into that now. Anyway, so first of all the main shonen things. I don't actually know the main ones. I just mainly know that it's for action. But one of the main issues I know is trying to make sure to balance character development with action. And one interesting thing that Fullmetal Alchemist has that I actually noticed whenever I rewatch it is that it ends up having so many characters that we care about that sometimes you kind of forget Edward is the main character, but somehow it's still able to show that he's going through the growth because he's the main character.
You know what's even crazier?
What?
We remember most of their names.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
you
There's
said,
over
we actually
100
care about them, but
Like over 100 and something named characters, and because of the character designs, you can remember all of them. Like if you show me a picture of a squinty guy, a guy with squinted eyes and white hair, and kind of a wolf cut thing going on, I'm gonna be like, oh hey, it's Fallman.
Yeah, exactly. But this how it's able to still show Edward's growth throughout the show. Like one of the main things that it does, I think we've noticed, is how obviously he starts working more with other people as this conspiracy thing keeps going on. But he's also, as time goes on, he starts relying less on alchemy and more on plans and his kung fu fighting and the like, until it goes up to the very end, where, and you guys already know what happens in the very end.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, when he gives up his power of alchemy, and I distinctly remember watching it.
I guess we'll just I was gonna say maybe we should say, hey, spoiler alert.
I mean, it's just about Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. If the people who are going to be listening to a podcast for Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, they should watch the whole series first.
It has been out for like more than 10 years.
20 years,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. It's like
What?
So it first came out in 2008, didn't it?
2009.
Well, the manga
2009.
first came out in like
2001.
2001.
Wow.
Yeah, until 2010.
Man, I can't. It's been that long.
Yeah, exactly. It's like staggeringly popular. So, it's kind of like Lord of the Rings, where if someone says, I haven't watched Lord of the Rings, you're like, you haven't watched it? How couldn't you watch it? If you're an anime fan, you say, I haven't watched Fullmetal Alchemist, it's either because you watch it, you have like so much on your plate that you can't, or something else, like you've never gotten around to it. But
Yeah.
it's one of those things.
Yeah, also with the shonen anime stuff, we haven't watched much shonen. I think like the closest we've gotten isn't necessarily watching it.
I've got a list right here.
Omniscient Reader is like that's shonen.
Yeah, big time.
Looking
Yeah,
forward
big
to that
time.
anime.
Yeah, I can't believe. Well, I can believe that they finally have made an anime. I can't wait to watch that.
Yeah.
But other shonen anime are like Dragon Ball, Naruto, One Piece, Jujutsu Kaisen.
big three.
What's the other one?
Never seen
Death
seen
Note
those.
is actually
Death Note?
qualifies.
Yeah,
Wait,
it's like
Death Note's
mainly
shonen?
male consumed media is like anime media is shonen. So
Oh, okay.
shoujo is like mainly female consumed. So that's Fruits Basket or
So
Nana. What was the other one?
I don't know.
Peach Girl. Peach Girl. I've talked about that
Your Lie in
before.
April.
Your Lie in April. I'm not sure.
think Your Lie in April's a little different.
I mean, well,
It's so
I mean,
pretty.
It's just so
but
pretty that's what I was
It's
thinking.
starring a boy. So typically when I think shoujo, it's like starring a girl.
So in
It's
terms of
Sailor Moon, you said?
Sailor Moon is shoujo.
Yeah.
So-
I was
Sorry,
going
go
to say another thing that counts as shonen. I'm pretty sure you already mentioned this is My Hero Academia.
Oh, big time.
Yeah, we
Oh,
talked.
yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah, we
like
talked about that.
deconstruction of shonen.
Yeah.
So in terms of looking at it from again webtoons, Omniscient Reader, shonen. I can't. Give me a romance webtoon that you've read
Oh crap!
right now. Well, give it to me.
Couple breaker. Wait, no. Wait. What? Sorry. What was the question?
It's saying, give me a romance webtoon that you've read.
Romance webtoon. Okay, I would say Couple Breaker. Is that more of a drama?
I feel
Clem's
like-
Kisses. Go read Clem's Kisses. It's such a good slice of life romance webtoon. It's been on hiatus for a while though, so I'm dying.
It's almost a month. It's getting kind of painful.
Why are you
Oh,
asking
really?
me to name one?
I was thinking of the comparison because I said shonen, Omniscient Reader, shoujo.
Oh my, yeah. Omniscient Reader and Clem's Kisses are like polar opposites. It's crazy how opposite they are.
That's
So-
something to think about.
Yeah, I seriously ship Dokja and Sangha though. And they have some really good ship moments. So we need to get caught up.
Yeah,
we
looking forward
just
to
have
it.
another 150 episodes, I think.
Right, Miss Duck? Go
I
ahead.
just checked something else to see if Attack on Titan qualifies as a shonen manga.
Seinen,
It-
isn't
it
it?
And
does,
it says
doesn't
it technically counts, but because of just how dark its themes is, the extreme violence, the complex politics, and mature storylines, it makes it feel more like a seinen.
Is it seinen or seinen?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of like, it's adult men.
Yeah,
That's
grown up man.
grown up males.
So, like, anything
watch
by Naoki Urasawa,
that.
for example.
Yeah,
qualifies.
exactly. Oh, yeah, totally. But it is cool with these different genres in the genre and stuff. But
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
one other thing that's able to, like, first of all, Fullmetal Alchemist is able to do the main tropes very clearly, like you talked about with the growth, check, power systems, we talked about the equivalent exchange and all that, check, and escalations of the threat, absolutely. But one other thing, one other thing that I think we talk about a lot is how it handles its female characters very, very well. Especially when compared to other shonens. You guys know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like My Hero Academia.
Yeah, like My Hero Academia.
Death
yeah,
Note
so
is,
what you're saying is it doesn't over sexualize them.
And they have something to do.
And
They have something to do.
They're people.
More
Like they're
specifically, yeah.
treated as all the other characters. Like they all have their areas of growth. For instance.
They're important to the plot. They have interesting perspectives on the theme, and they're not just there to be over sexualized, and they have like great moments,
and they have personal areas of growth. Like it's not connected to a man at all times.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if there are romance elements, that's fine.
I know
it's
you
fun.
guys like. I know you would fight for with Roy and Riza.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, I would.
Or Winry and
I
Edward.
would.
Yeah,
Yes,
I love those.
big time.
I love those.
Yeah, I know. Even like as I was saying that, you guys started to look a little tense.
Yeah,
like I get it. I get you. Like you know who you're talking to.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
you talk to- yeah, it's great. Yeah, they're great.
You're the ship captain.
Yes, sir.
And interestingly, we kind of have a point of also Alan May are just a great.
They're so cute.
I did not see that coming at all.
me
And it's adorable.
I don't have a mean face like him. I'm a gentleman.
Yeah, like that came out of nowhere, and you know what? It's fine.
100% valid.
It's fine.
Yeah.
That's great. Anyway,
So, but real quick, why exactly would this show work for people who don't like shonen, which I understand, but why would it work for them? It's like, for instance, the female stuff
yeah,
that you're talking about.
first of the well-rounded characters. Like it kind of reads more like I can see it working as like an American action movie kind of thing, like the military, just with the magic in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm mainly thinking about like how the military structures and dealing with this conspiracy kind of thing. You know what I mean? I wish I could think of a movie compared to. It's almost like Captain America: The Winter Soldier when I think about it.
Yeah, that's probably one reason why
I can get behind that. I wasn't sure. I was like, live action adaptation of Full Metal.
I wouldn't say
not like that. Not like that. Not like that.
Sorry, but that's where my mind went. Okay.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
okay.
fair enough, but
Yeah, that's not like that, but it just kind of gives me those kinds of feelings. You know what I mean? Except all you have to do is just add the magic, the alchemy influences, and that's basically the main thing. And of course, going back to with these female characters, rather than just being these set pieces for the male characters, they actually have a part in the play in the movie. Arm candy, yeah. No offense to any fans of the 2003, but we kind of get an example. But we kind of see this like when we compare, say, Riza in the 2003 and Riza in Brotherhood, where she's not exactly much of a character.
She doesn't have a purpose other than loving Roy for whatever reason.
Well, we don't really know.
Yeah, Roy's my favorite character in Brotherhood, and I agree with you because he's just such a jerk in the 2003.
He is trash.
Well, he doesn't even get to blow up as much stuff, which
he's weak.
Yeah, he seems like
and also Envy got away with it.
And Envy got away with it.
He's a very different character in 2003, but for Riza, we don't know why she's so loyal, and she actually doesn't get a lot of scenes in 2003. And I think
honestly,
she's just mainly seen as the assistant who has the guns. Well, not a lapdog, but I would say on the pretty arm candy because she doesn't get a lot. Whereas in 2008, it's kind of hard to see. 2009, yeah, Brotherhood. It's kind of hard to say who's really in charge.
Honestly,
I keep saying that Mustang may on paper Mustang is Riza's superior, but they're actually equals occasionally. And most of the time, but a lot of the time, Riza is has more authority in that regard. There is no hierarchy with those two, only on paper, like I said.
Now I would say, concerning the trope of
yes, I was hoping you would. I was gonna bring this up.
Concerning this trope of the employer times the employee, I usually have a problem with it. Most times I have a problem with it. Sometimes I read I was almost said mangas, but webtoons. Like I'm strictly pretty much a webtoon girl. And
you're the webtoon girl.
I'm the webtoon girl. Yeah. Anyway, so. When I start reading comics where it's like employer times employee, I'll read it for maybe 15 episodes tops, and then it just fizzles out because I'm too uncomfortable with the dynamic because it's just the imbalance is too much. But when it comes to Roy and Riza, I do like how with them, like what you said, it's like they're pretty much on even ground, like personality wise. They've known each other for so long, but it's not like in a weird way or anything like that. And with how it's clear that they love each other and they should be married.
Yes.
I love that so much.
and
It's like I don't.
Well, like,
it's like I don't ship them with anyone else.
Like-
There's no competition.
Yeah, that's actually what. But also, it's another thing, real quickly. Fullmetal Alchemist handles its ships like the best we've ever
The
seen
best.
in any anime, or maybe even any show ever.
Mine-
because like,
Webtoons too.
It pairs
It's
up,
so good.
Like I think it pairs up every major character with someone you can't imagine them with anybody else.
Nah.
and it goes very well.
It's so good.
You know,
Right.
and also. Not a single one of them kiss
No.
in the show, and you don't even need to see it.
It's
incredible.
You know, I'd be okay if seeing it at least once.
You're this fan art. I'm sure that this fan art.
Oh yeah, it's like I know this. I know. but but yeah, I wouldn't have minded seeing it. But it's like it's not that kind of anime.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm cool with that. I'm chill.
And also, it should be noted that Riza, if I remember correctly, is Mustang's bodyguard, actually. And same thing with Ling and Ling and Lanfan.
Yeah,
I forgot
another
about that.
really good.
Oh man,
Yeah, another really good one.
Yeah, that's really good. That's a really good one.
Yeah.
But I think Hiromu Arakawa. Interestingly, I think she
deserves full name status.
yeah, I think she actually. I wonder if she noted the thing with Roy and Riza, which is why she made sure to show that they actually had a past that. Mustang was actually the apprentice of her father, and then they went through all the crap with the Vietnam Civil War, and then Riza came to him to go into the military, and then Mustang specifically told her that he wanted her to work for him, not only because she's great at what she does, but also if he ever goes crazy for her to kill him.
Yeah.
So that's basically to watch him.
And the whole angst about the flame alchemy thing, like the fact that Riza's father was crazy and put it on his and tattooed it on his daughter's back. So
I think it was a brand or something.
It's awful.
It's crazy. It's just crazy.
Yeah, but I do like how like the it's called forced proximity trope. Like it's typically used in everywhere, and like everything with romance stuff like that, I guess. But even in other things like friendship and whatever. But anyway, I do like how it's not centered on romance or anything like that. Like Roy wasn't the reason why he asked her to work for him in this case isn't because of any romance or anything like that. It's because they're a great team, and because she would probably if he asked her to or if she saw that he needed help, then she would help him without a second thought.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised at all.
her.
I wouldn't be surprised at all if he hit on her back then. But he knows.
You kidding me?
Yeah, when he was apprentice under her dad.
Do you know who you're talking about?
Oh yeah, this is I like the ladies in the miniskirts. I'll be posing in the mirror without my fancy shirts. I'm gonna set your heart on fire, whoosh whoosh, and my heart burns bright too. Kaboom kaboom. My firepower tonight is brilliant, just right. Kablam kablam. Charles Willingham was a gift to humanity.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I love it.
The fact
but
that she actually included that in the original manga, and that's where it came from. The
Oh,
Mustang rap.
Oh yeah.
So cool.
yeah, but anyway, so the fact that he was able to absolutely trust her, and that trust is based on specifically that trust, and then of course we know that they love each other.
Yeah.
And I think the relationships, actually all of the relationships
It's
in the
built
show,
on trust and
based on
mutual trust.
So like this,
So
for both. Obviously, we talked with the romantic like Ling and Lanfan, which is great because we see how much Ling cares about Lanfan and Old Man Fu to an almost manic degree.
But that's how it should be with family.
Yeah, exactly. And even when Lanfan was saying, leave me behind and all that, I think that would be a lot easier for him to do that. And, Ling absolutely would not do that. And then Mikasa just goes the complete mad lad mode thing of cutting her arm off with a small knife.
And tying it to a
small
dog
one.
as a diversion.
Division.
Yeah.
That was well planned, girl.
And then you see this with other things like
Well played.
Well played, right? Yeah.
Then you see this with other things like even with that the superior subordinate thing we talked about, like General Armstrong with him and the Briggs, because we know she cares about them. She's
It's
like
great.
a mother to. She's a mother to them, and like we specifically see this with what's his name,
Buccaneer,
the big bad man,
Buccaneer.
with Buccaneer, who's basically he's basically the big scary grinning baby boy, and treats her like a mom.
Yeah, like when after she
adorable.
murdered General Raven and threw him into a bunch bunch of wet cement. You know, I was gonna be a warlord.
Oh, gosh.
And then immediately after she says like what they should do, and she takes off her gloves,
And he
wipes out the blood off the
has
sword,
somebody-
puts it in the sheath, and then
then
he immediately
throws the bloody gloves onto the wet cement.
Awesome. Then Buccaneer immediately puts his hand in his pocket, pulls out another pair of gloves, and hands them and hands them to
And
her.
then you're like, she's done this before.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and-
that fool, he probably deserves it the most out of every guy every other person that she's hacked open and thrown
Honestly.
into a bunch of wet cement.
Yeah, and by the way, when she threw him into the wet cement, all the big men were like, "Yes."
Now you're going to be
Yeah.
the foundation of this country, literally.
But what's cool about her and why she's so well respected is because she,
It's terrifying.
yes, but not just that. She puts her money where her mouth is. Like meaning like she does what she says she's gonna do. You know, she invests in what she says she's going to do, or like her intentions are made perfectly clear. Pretty much, like it was obvious to everyone she was gonna kill Raven,
She even
except Raven.
Yes, he even said, "Idiot! What I want is to kill you," and then she actually killed him.
Right.
She was like thinking that while she was doing her whole fly and honey gambit.
Exactly. Yeah. Like it was so clear that she wanted to kill him the whole time.
I mean, with the
woman is so
inheritance of
scary.
with the inheritance of the mansion, with that whole thing, when Moneybags Big Daddy Armstrong said, "Hey, so in order to get the mansion,
Engage your sister in combat."
Yeah, fight your sister in combat." And then she's just like, "Okay," and immediately pulled out her sword. And then Alex was like, "Whoa! I don't want to fight you."
And then
Yeah.
it's like, "You dare tell my father to retire? Well, you leave me no choice then." And of course, he rips off his shirt, and then they get into fighting. Don't ask me why he ripped off his shirt. It's an Armstrong thing.
I mean, it deserves to be noted that by the looks of it, he didn't use alchemy when fighting her.
So that's
At least
fair
leveling
fight.
out the
Yeah,
playing
fair fight.
field.
Yeah, that's appreciated.
And this is in the same episode when Greed and Bradley have an epic sword fight in the beginning of the episode. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah, so I guess the anime is like, look, we already know Alex is gonna lose. We just animated this huge, this extremely complex fight scene. What is this? We'll just not even.
You get
show
the
it.
idea. You get the idea.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So we need to move on to the next section, which is the Elric Brothers,
The
section
Elric-
3.
I love those two.
So we're
so
talking
much.
about Edward and Alphonse as leads. Like, who are they? Why are they? And whatever.
How are they?
How are they?
They're not doing well. Not doing well initially. It's this seems to those things from a story where like it starts off as a doodle and then it turns into a whole big old story. It's like what happened with Avatar: Last Airbender and what I'm pretty sure happened with Chainsaw Man.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that kind of thing happened with the guy with the short dude with the coat and the braid and the big old sort of suit of armor who turns into a pickle sometimes. But this.
Oh.
But then it just
like,
goes
what?
completely. Then the story just kind of just builds off of that, and it's crazy. And one thing I really like is how there's a clear contrast. The contrast between these two is fantastic, like all the way down to their character designs. Where Edward is wearing his bright red coat and in the boots, and it's like probably the most anime.
It's flashy.
Yeah, flashy and like one of the most anime-looking characters in the show, given his grounded look, and he does that on purpose because he thinks it's cool.
And also, he can't fit the Amestrian military outfits anyway. So
I
What
forgot.
are you gonna do?
Oh man, that is hilarious. I forgot about that.
I mean, and granted, if there was one his size, he'd probably look super cool. But this is the
But
better
because
option.
he's so short.
yeah,
Well,
and,
we
he's
have-
and he's a protagonist.
Well, we have the play kitty ones that people give their little kids on bring your daughter to work day.
Yeah, we also have these ones for very small women in the military.
And then compare them to Alphonse, who's a big, scary looking suit of armor, who's actually a really nice kid.
Yeah.
It's like the classic trope, and then the way the character deals with the characters and reminds you that they're like very, very smart alchemists and like they're a cracked squad. This is one of the things that
They're good
2003 did very well, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we liked them with Edward and Alphonse. We liked them in the 2003 and in the 2009. We just feel like some other characters, some other storylines, some other choices could have been done better. But Ed and Al, they've always been good.
Yeah, so
pretty
that
much.
foundation is just very impressive. How even like the foundation of who they are is still very good, and it's like one of the most iconic. They're one of the most iconic duos in the whole in all of anime,
genre.
I think.
Yeah, like the sibling bond is really well done.
And I really
Yeah.
love the intrigue as well. Like, I immediately remember, like, when we watched the first episode, my first thought was, wait, is that the giant suit of armor talking? Why does he have a little boy's voice? What's up with that?
Why isn't he? Is he the Fullmetal
Is
Alchemist?
he the Fullmetal Alchemist? Why? I mean, why wouldn't he be? He's a giant metal man. He
Yeah.
sounds like a little boy, but giant metal man. So he's got to be the Fullmetal Alchemist. Who's this? His sidekick?
No, that joke that
never
joke,
got old.
Yeah, that joke doesn't get used very often later on. But then when Kimberly says like, "So you're the Fullmetal Alchemist, huh?" Well, I can see where you get the name. Everyone points at Edward. Oh, so it's you then. And they even specifically said like,
one more person makes that mistake.
and I think it said, I remember in the version they said in the manga, I was like, that hasn't happened in a while. Why does it keep happening?
Yeah, I
Right.
was like, I don't know, man. I'm kind of happy it's happening again. I've just been feeling constant anxiety before.
I remember. So the thing I was talking about earlier was how the miscommunication trope isn't used as much, or isn't really used in Fullmetal Alchemist. And I was talking about how that's one of the more anime-specific tropes that wasn't used in Fullmetal Alchemist. And I was mainly thinking about the one arc that involved the kind of misunderstanding
Oh, yeah.
of
His suit of
Alphonse
armor.
being in the suit of armor
His
and
suit of
stuff.
armor angst.
So that hurt me.
Yeah, thankfully we were able to work it out in one episode,
like,
which is
in
nice.
one episode.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about. Like they didn't just end it like 5 episodes later, and then there was just one episode.
Because they got more stuff to do, and Alice got more time to just be freaking awesome.
Yeah, got stuff to do,
Yeah.
places to be.
And-
And what was the main problem?
Barry, actually, you go ahead, Quincy.
So Barry the Chopper planted a seed of doubt in Alphonse's mind as to whether or not he was actually real.
Yeah,
If
so
he
it was essentially saying that that Ed could have just used alchemy to create a soul from scratch, just so he could have a brother, and all that stuff with his memories and the like were just completely made up.
That's
Okay, yeah. Every time I hear about it, it's just as bad
I think-
as
yeah.
the very first time.
I think the
like,
only
that is sickening.
I think the only way you could do that is with a philosopher's stone, because that sounds completely impossible. But if you use like a philosopher's stone to fuse a certain stone to that could work.
How did Barry the Chopper cook that up? Honestly, that's just. I mean,
Misery loves company.
Yeah, but when he deals with misery, he just deals it by cutting people up. So he's like, you know what I mean?
The
but
question
also-
wasn't his soul being manufactured. It was the
Yeah.
question of whether or not he even had a soul at all.
Ugh.
Similar. You know how
Existential
people
crisis.
say that robots don't have souls but have sentience and can think for themselves? Well, Barry the Chopper was saying that was the case with Alphonse.
Right.
And given the fact that what Ed was doing at the same time with the was it the 5th laboratory or one of the 4th or 3rd? I don't know.
Fifth laboratory.
Oh, okay.
No way, man. I'm saying that wrong.
And I'll quickly say I don't know how I was surprised by this, but I was actually pretty horrified when the homunculi killed them killed them both.
The Slicer Brothers?
Yeah, the Slicer Brothers.
That was so hard. That was so hard to watch.
I had to take a break
I was
after
genuinely-
that. I need to get some water.
Maybe it was because of the whole sibling thing, what was going on with Ed and Al, but man,
It's Brotherhood, man. Like
Yeah.
the that part of the title just keeps coming up.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire all 65 episodes. Is that right? 65,
64.
Yeah.
64.
yeah, and plus that, and it was the first sign of me thinking, I want to see bad stuff happen to that palm tree guy.
Yeah, I would say Envy's character is done way better in the 2003.
Well, I mean, it's a different character though.
just a
It's like the
I
different
said what I
backstory
said.
and circumstances.
I said
You know
what
what I mean?
said.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
just-
get it. I do.
Yeah,
I mean, the caveat, I think I see the reason why he's saying that is because with the 2003, I will endlessly keep bringing this up over and over again. Like the last 5 or 10 episodes of 2003 are amazing, and they have so much potential to be to do some great stuff. And if they had the previous 30 or 40 episodes to build on that,
30
with
or 40,
because it's just the parallel universe and the way that the homunculi came from, and all the episodes were focused on lust or wrath or Scar are routinely really, really good. Maybe let's get some Envy episodes in there.
Yeah,
Let's get
that's a
some
good-
more
that's a good
parallel
idea.
universe stuff in there. That's awesome. It's just awesome. And Dante is a great villain for
Honestly.
the 5 or so episodes that she shows up in.
Yeah,
I want
she was
more.
killed off screen, wasn't she?
And she was killed off screen.
Yeah,
She's-
just eaten by gluttony.
just
Just like that.
Just like
Just
that.
like that.
and then Envy and
Well said, Mac.
Thank you.
And then Envy and Brotherhood Whereas you can argue that since Envy from 2003, he has at least some humanity there, and if he really, really, really works hard at it, it's going to be an uphill battle, but there could be some character development where he ends up becoming a better person. Brotherhood Envy, there's no way.
No.
It's kind of hard to say.
No, well,
it's kind of hard to say though. Like if you look at Greed, for instance, yeah, he was like a full homunculus, and he was strictly a bad guy when you first showed him, but he was still able to have a group of friends when he broke away from Father. So does that mean like if any of the homunculi broke away from Father, they would basically be able to have their own? Well, not good, but it was only when he was bonded with Ling that he was able to actually become good. Greed. But does that mean that if any of the other homunculi broke away, that they would be able to actually become better?
It's kind of hard to say because
simply
Greed,
theories.
Yeah, because with Greed's whole thing was about greed. So the reason, because it's part of his name and his whole ambition and whatever. So the reason why he left the Pipe Lord is because Father. We call him the Pipe Lord.
Yeah,
you coined it because of Ian Hubert. And when it first showed him, when it showed all those pipes running up to a chair, Zip nonchalantly said, "Who's this guy? The Pipe Lord?" And we've been calling him that ever since.
For 4 years.
For 4 years.
Where did we get that?
Ian Hubert, because I was watching Ian Hubert's wonderful lazy tutorials about Blender, and one of the things that he said where you learn how to make pipes, which I'm gonna have to find an excuse to make some pipes in Blender, is he said, just do the same thing way to make another one. Do it again and again and again. Look at you, you're the Pipe Lord now. So step one is add in step one, add in a curve object in Blender. Step 5, become the Pipe Lord. But anyway, back to Fullmetal Alchemist. His whole thing is that he wanted more, so that's part of the reason why he left, I guess. But maybe it's just a theory. They don't really explain it.
I think that's what he said, because he wanted more than these small things that Father had to offer. Yeah, and he wanted to get out there and get more.
But with the other homunculi, like would say Envy. I think part of the reason why he's why he's one of the most they're all murder happy, but he's just so bloodthirsty is since he has the whole thing of feeling envy towards all of humanity because they have all of the qualities that he lacks. He just wants to fill in the hole in his heart with murdering everyone to make himself to compensate for that.
Because that's a valid solution.
Yeah, exactly. It's a valid solution and it works every time.
Every time.
Xavier, an interesting question that you actually posed a couple of years ago was the matter of whether or not Envy was actually the unfavored son to the Pipe Lord, because he has all of those qualities that the Pipe Lord disdains in himself, that envy for what humans have, which is to say families, friends that support them and each other, and Envy, of course, feels that same way. In spite of claiming to be superior to humans and disdaining them at every available opportunity.
Right.
And, like we said, the Pipe Lord hates that quality in himself.
The only time he's ever spoken to him was when he was telling him to be quiet. Even after, in the manga, after Lust's death, when he was yelling, and Envy was yelling at Bradley for not doing anything about it. I don't think he even talked to the Pipe Lord even talked to Envy. He just asked Bradley why he did what he did. And then Bradley did his whole thing of saying that Mustang could be used to open the portal for your 5th sacrifice. And then he was just like, that's good. That's why you're the Führer.
Yeah. So we'll loop back around to this, but one thing I think is the reason why Envy in the 2003 versus the 2009 is both the backstory and the different role he serves. Because in 2003, he's definitely more of a foil for Edward and for all of the stuff that he's going through and his anger issues and his resentment toward Hohenheim. Whereas in the 2008, he's 2009 Brotherhood. Why do I keep saying 2008? In Brotherhood, for the father, when you look closely and you see learn more, is more of the foil for Edward. Very well done, by the way. We'll talk about that later. And Envy is obviously let's see, actually. Envy is still like the embodiment of all of those really, really bad the main bringer of the really, really bad things of the homunculi, since he takes so much joy in it. And I'd say he's probably the one that Edward has the most conflict with. Well, him and Pride probably.
He's kind of like Loki in the Avengers, where he's just so evil, and he takes such pleasure in it that you're kind of waiting for him to get, got. Which is part of the reason why his whole defeat is just so well done, and so yeah.
I'm inclined to agree with that. Like, Envy has always been my favorite character, and him with 2003 versus the 2009, Envy definitely has some other forms of humanity in him when you look really closely and after you watch the entire anime and you think about it for a while.
I guess his love for his lust, maybe. His love for his sister when he's
exactly.
indignant.
And how angry he was after she was killed. And he was like that in 2009 as well, but you saw a lot more of it in 2003. Also, how he was human once, you know? And he remembers his life as a human, and none of the other homunculi are like that.
That's probably the main difference. That's like the main difference.
He's also
actually. Yeah, that's
also
why,
he's the first one.
Yeah, that's why he was also the first one. He's lived the longest. So it's another interesting fact about him. But in the 2009, he's none of these things. Like he's never been human before. If he ever tried having friends, which I don't know if he'd ever try, but he's gonna be envious of all of them in some way, shape, or form.
He's gonna find a way.
Yeah, with greed, it's a bit different. He just wants more, like what's it called?
More.
And with envy, it's gonna be like everyone he comes in contact with, he's probably gonna want to feel like he wants to kill because he can never be what they are, or have what they have, and things like that. So it's just brutal, man.
Also with the 2003, it deserves to be noted that Envy is Dante's son, and she was the one who, she and Hohenheim were the ones who ended up bringing him back and turning him to a homunculus in the first place.
It was Hohenheim specifically who did it.
Yeah,
actually.
Hohenheim specifically, but then Hohenheim regretted it, and then he just said that he created a monster and left them behind, which really jacked up Envy and caused Envy to really hate Hohenheim, but stick around with Dante, so that Dante would end up having her plan to, be young and beautiful forever, and also so that way Envy at some point could find Hohenheim, so that way he can kill him. Of course, that doesn't end up working out because Dante sends him to the Portal of Truth and to the parallel universe.
It doesn't tell Envy.
It doesn't tell Envy, which
causes him to have a turbo tantrum.
Turbo. Like, can you say that?
It should have been me! That was terrifying. I think it's just the fact that out of nowhere he just attacks Bradley, which I'm not used to seeing.
Right after he assaults the floor.
Right? Yeah. After he does third degree aggravated assault to the floor. It looked like a meteor.
The stone floor.
It looked like a meteor hit it.
Yeah. So going back, like we said, 2003 and 2008, two different stories, and the two different backstories make two very different envies, which is
interesting.
Homunculi, which is very, very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
To talk more about this, I think we need to go into the fourth part, which is systems, war, and power.
I just had I had a couple more points about the Elrics that I want to touch on really quickly.
Okay.
Just about how their arcs are handled, and specifically about how with Alphonse. One thing I find very, very interesting about Alphonse's arc is that over time he kind of has to learn to rely less on his older brother, who always takes kind of the charge of things since he's the more headstrong personality. And Alphonse, I wouldn't call him a soft boy, but
he's a bit of a follower of Edward for a while.
Yeah, but he's very, very nice and polite, but he's got to learn to take initiative, which you see that the main big example of this is when he protects Riza from lust, and he has that big moment and it's great. And then time goes on more and more as he kind of takes charge of his own thing until after the whole thing in Briggs, when he gets separated from Edward, and he has to, he's basically one of the best alchemists in the group. So he's the one who has to help them figure out the whole transmutation circle, and then there's the epic thing in the finale when he's fighting Pride and Kimberly all on his own.
One of my favorite fights in the whole show. It's incredible.
And it's at that point when you realize just how good of an alchemist Alphonse is, and then it comes to a head in the final episode when he saves Edward and gets him his arm back, which was amazing.
It was beautiful. I actually I was too in shock to be close to tears. That was like around the ending part.
Yeah.
But
Everyone was just like, no way.
That
He
was
actually did
wild.
it. Yeah, so
The music.
yeah, it's perfect. It's Akira Senju just bringing the thunder.
Yeah.
So that whole thing with Alphonse's arc, which is actually the opposite of Edward's arc, which is relying more on the people around him, less on his alchemy, and more on his own human strength, capabilities, and the people around him, which is you see in obviously his growth as a character personally and his physical growth, because he's taking more, paying more attention to not only his body, but like I said, the people around him, with Winry helping him with his automail and the like. So they have two very different character arcs for their very different personalities, but they end up at the same place when he gets his body back. Also, another interesting thing is that Edward, when he's talking about getting his body back, he's always talking about getting Al's body back. He doesn't care about getting his arm and leg back, but he's always talking about getting Al his body back, since he blames himself for that, which is very good. And then Alphonse is always talking about getting both of their bodies back. So like he's concerned about getting both of them their bodies back. And then they kind of find a happy middle ground where Edward gets his arm back, Alphonse gets his body back, and now Edward just has to deal with an awesome metal leg.
Yeah, and Winry still has something to work on.
And Winry still has something to work on, and she's actually teaching Edward how to take care of it himself.
Right.
And also,
Cool.
I really like how it's another thing of him shedding his pride, because he kind of he lost his like fair and square. So,
Honestly, it was his idea.
Yeah, and it was his idea. So the arm thing was kind of an extra incentive, and also Truth being a jerk. So he can get his brother back. And another thing that I just realized when you were talking is how at the start of the story, part of the reason why Alphonse is depending on Ed a bit more is because of how Al is a bit weaker in terms of his alchemy, because he still has to draw circles on walls and that sort of thing.
Because he didn't see the truth.
Because he didn't see the truth. Up until the Crest of Blood thing happens, in which case his power shoots through the roof, beyond Ed's to a certain extent.
You mean when that poor snake girl gets killed?
When
right inside him?
Model. Yeah.
I think there's
Bradley,
also
Bradley is King Terminator Bradley. Like
I hated
said.
that scene. Like, dog.
Yeah.
I hated that.
Darth.
Oh, Lord.
Anyway, I think there's also the fact that Edward is a licensed state alchemist, while Alphonse isn't.
The reason
Oh,
why
I
is
keep
because
forgetting about
they
that.
didn't want people to be suspicious about the suit of armor, so that no one looks inside it, and all they say is that Alphonse has a weird hobby.
Wait,
What else are they
is
gonna do?
Is that what they do? What?
That's what they do. They say that Alphonse
Okay.
has a weird hobby, and which is why he never eats in it, and he always wears it around and stuff.
So he's like,
That makes sense.
That's the
Yeah.
excuse. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Take the head off of the terrifying
Head
suit
check.
of armor, do a head check,
That's
and
just
then
rude.
and then of course not to mention the short-tempered state alchemist, who's
Yeah.
also a master martial artist, who's got who could probably break your face with his metal arm.
Also,
Oh,
how
yeah,
would you even
definitely.
check? It's
Or
like
you
he's
just-
super tall.
Yeah,
Is he
exactly.
like 10 feet tall?
Nothing but balls.
you could just say like, my name is Edward Elric, state alchemist. This is my brother Alphonse. He's a larper.
Yeah, he larps.
He larps.
Yeah, I love fantasy.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah. No one will ask any questions.
Nope.
But also, Alphonse is such a nice guy. You're not gonna
It's
want to
like,
ask any questions.
exactly. You wouldn't want to be rude.
Yeah, exactly.
So, now we say we're ready to move on.
Okay, yeah, we're ready to move on. Sorry,
Okay.
I just wanted to touch on those.
No, don't be sorry. That was really good to add.
Thank you.
So,
What's up, Alchemists? We know it's been a while since we last posted, but we're finally back, and it feels good to be here again. We hope you enjoyed the discussion so far. This is an episode we've been looking forward to for a while, so it feels great to finally share it. We'll be back next week for the second half of this episode, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. If you're enjoying the podcast, leave a like, drop a comment on what else you'd like us to discuss, and please support us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or wherever else you listen in from. Thanks for joining us, you dogs of the military, and we'll see you next time when we go over the systems of evil in Amestris, the strengths and critiques of this show, and the legacy this great anime has left behind.